Hi, my name is Gibson, and I'm the creator of the Personal Development School. This is your daily breakthrough video, and in this video, I want to talk to you a little bit about why people pleasing is such an important form of self-abandonment to recognize. So, it's really common for people to be people pleasers, especially those of us who are insecurely attached from our upbringing in childhood. And the big reason for this is when you go through attachment trauma, because the subconscious mind knows and is acutely aware that it is completely dependent on its caregivers for survival. When we go through attachment trauma and we feel like there's a threat to our relationship with our caregiver, it feels like there's a threat to our survival. And so, from that perspective, at a very young age, it's very common for individuals to acquire any skill set they need in order to overcome the likelihood of being abandoned. And this can take place in a variety of different forms. One of the most common ones that we'll see, and this tends to be very common for anxious, preoccupied individuals, for fearful avoidance, but even for enmeshed, dismissive, avoidant attachment styles, is this idea that if I give up my boundaries and I don't have any boundaries, I don't object to anything, then I'm more likely to be loved and accepted. Another version of this is if I give up my boundaries, I'm more likely to avoid conflict. And another version of this, yet again, is if I give up my needs and I pretend like I don't really have needs and I just do whatever is expected of me, I'm more likely to gain acceptance or favor or connection. And so it's really common for individuals who go through attachment trauma to develop this subconscious mind association that says, well, by giving up what I need and by being there for what other people expect from me and by walking on eggshells and doing everything that's expected and being good, I'm more likely to stay safe, survive, and get my needs met. And so the mind actually goes through this really interesting programming where it goes, by giving up my sense of self, positive things happen. Now, while this may have been something that worked for you in childhood, because in childhood, maybe you didn't really know how to express yourself, communicate your needs, didn't know what your needs were, didn't know how to have boundaries, and were reliant on your caregivers for survival, did have that ongoing nurturing and support. In your adult life, this takes a very different role. Because if we can't show up and carve out space for our own domain as an individual in our adult lives, we're less likely to get the job we want. We're less likely to go after the dreams that we have. We're less likely to have our needs met if we don't even know what our needs are or know how to express them in our adult lives. And we will be left feeling dissatisfied, frustrated, disconnected, emotionally drained, and often even burnt out. And so it's really important to recognize that just because a strategy may have worked for us in some form, AKA our subconscious mind built positive emotional associations to something because it was working a little in childhood, doesn't mean that this is something that will still work for us in our adult lives. And I want us to look at people who we know who are people pleasers in our lives, or look at us or at ourselves for a moment when we are people pleasing the most, and try to recognize what you notice about those patterns. When you're people pleasing the most, what do you see? You're probably going to find, if you look closely, that you feel abandoned, that you feel frustrated, you feel unseen, unheard, emotionally disconnected. Like, why doesn't anybody see me? Nobody cares about me. It will be a big story that comes out of that. You feel taken advantage of and you feel burnt out. You feel tired. You feel frustrated. Like, none of these things are serving. And it's because every single time I choose to please other people at the expense of my own needs, well, now I get into a position where I'm just whittling away at my own emotional energy. It's like my tank of energy for the day, and the things I need to replenish, recharge, the needs I have to have met to feel good, to thrive, are constantly being diminished, constantly being drained out. And that's no way to live. And so I want everybody watching this to notice that every single time you people please, AKA you meet other people's needs at the expense of your own, it is always a form of self-abandonment. So what is the remedy for this? Well, the remedy becomes for us to learn to take ourselves into consideration when making choices. It becomes us knowing our needs, understanding our own needs, learning how to communicate them effectively, and removing the subconscious belief systems we have or conditioned programs we have that say, oh, if you people please, or if you stop people pleasing, you'll be abandoned, people won't like you, you'll be bad. All of these ideas and concepts we've acquired and have been programmed into our subconscious mind from childhood that are no longer serving us. And so this is really powerful work to do, because on the other side of ending people pleasing patterns, you feel strong, you feel protected, you feel like somebody has your back, which is you. You feel like you have boundaries, you feel like your needs can be met. All these beautiful and powerful things come out of that. And so I just really want to articulate the concept that, like, when you people please, you self-abandon. And the more we do that over and over again, we don't feel like anybody's here for us. And the more we get into this vicious cycle where we feel like, okay, I have to go outside into other people and get my needs met from them because nobody's here meeting my needs because I'm not even doing it. And so we get into a chronic cycle where the more we people please and self-abandon, the more afraid we become of other people also abandoning us, because then nobody's filling our cup, not us and nobody else. So it's really important that we work to break these patterns, break these cycles. And if you want to do a deep dive into this stuff, a course I highly recommend is our boundaries course and our Discover, Embrace, and Fulfill Your Personal Needs course, because it's all about you understanding your needs, your programming, what is important to you, and then actually reprogramming fears that are stopping you from communicating these things, setting out those boundaries, articulating the needs that you have. And you can check those out for free for 7 days by clicking the link in the description box below. It gives you access to our all access membership pass for 7 days. Not only do you get all those courses, both those courses, along with 45 plus other courses, but you also get access to our amazing community if you become a member, which gives you 4 webinars a week, ongoing group and social events where you can connect with other like-minded people, ongoing learning, workbooks, webinars, online dating routines for tips and tools, all kinds of really, really amazing features in there. So I hope to see you on the other side. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching.